Welcome to the Black Light Project. Come on and step into our black light, and we gon' shine our lights bright. Our black lights, Black Light Project.
What's going on,
What's
sir?
good, Chef?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. You know I've been here a couple times.
A couple times, man.
I really like the theme that y'all have going on in here.
Appreciate it.
So the reclaimed wood really does do a good job. It does it justice.
Makes you want to sit longer, you know? Like it's just warm, you know?
It is.
Still feels like a house.
Yeah, it does. It does. So you have a chef's coat on. So are you like a chef owner or?
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. That's actually interesting. So what is life like as a chef and owner of an establishment?
Well, you know, it's a big responsibility. It's no different from anybody that's an owner of a shoe shop, a tech store, or used to be record store. Like when we grew up, you don't see too much of those no more. But you know, you take on so much responsibility as far as the guests, the staff around you, and the community around you. You can't walk in the building and just be planning your day. Like, all right, what do I have to do? Let me go to a list. Because normally that's what a cook does. Cook walks in, go to my list. I need to cut this. I need to get this dressing, this sauce, station ready. We open in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I come in, turn the lights on. Most business owners, they look for everything wrong first. So like, what wasn't done right? You know what I mean? This isn't right, that's not right, you know what I mean? Then I go, my office is upstairs, kind of press, I turn the music on, look at the numbers from last night, see where we're at. It's Saturday. I look on there, what did we do last Saturday? What did we do the Saturday a year before, 2 Saturdays ago? That traffic flow builds a pattern, and then that's the mindset you gotta have. You know, like, all right, I expect it's sunny outside, it's cold outside. When are people actually gonna walk in the building?
Okay.
And then I'll look out the window upstairs and I'll be like, do I see people on campus today? Are people at TDC? Are they at a Hopfly? How many cars are in the parking lot? Those are all the barriers that, and I live right down the street, that is all going through my head most of the time before I even got in the building. Okay. And I'm talking to you as if I was here already. That's already in my head. So the moment I walk in the door, it's second nature.
So your day starts at what, like 3 in the morning and ends at what, like 11 or something?
No, like I would say a typical day for me is, most chefs is when you wake up.
Okay.
So especially as a chef owner. So I'm normally up at 7 every day. My doctor told me I need to stop that.
Okay.
But I normally wake up around 7. And then if I choose to get up, that's when my day starts. Now that things have kind of slowed down and hours and curfew, I try to get out of bed around 9 to relax a little bit more because I'm pretty intense. So I've slowed it down, but a typical day for me is 12, 14 hours, typical. Most chefs, a typical day for a chef is 10 to 12 hours.
Okay.
You know, that's typical. But for me, it's 12 to 14. So I'm used to 75, 90-hour work weeks, sometimes 100.
So you talked about being a father and just how you're raising your son. Was that any different from the way you were raised or like the relationship that you had with your father?
Yeah, my dad, we never lived in the same home, but even so, throughout my life, you know, he always made sure that we stayed in communication. He always, you know, had wisdom to impart on me, and that was valued. You know, from the outside looking in, it'd be easy to call him a, you know, less than.
Okay.
But even so, you know, he found a way to have a positive influence on me in his way, and I always value that.
That's good to hear, because me personally, like, I've never had the best relationship with my father, although we've like lived together for the majority of my life. it's always been like a roller coaster. We're talking 1 minute, we're not talking the next minute. And I more so grew into the same perspective that you have, where it's like, he may not have been the ideal, perfect father, like the cookie cutter thing you see on TV, but he did have a positive impact on my life. And I try my best to like let him know that, like, hey, you weren't perfect, we're all human and stuff like that, but you did have a positive impact on my life, and I recognize you for that. All right, you told me about like being in the Black Light Project a little bit and its effect on you and your son and your family and like that type of stuff. But what do you do like recreationally? What do you do when you're like off the clock, you ain't around your work, your employers or anything like that? Like,
I want to take this moment to advocate for a 4-day work week.
I'm for that too. I'll sign the petition, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, finding free time is a challenge in itself, but as they say, all work, no play, you know, makes for lame.
It makes for lame.
Something like that. But in my free time, really, spend a lot of time with my son, other family, a lot of staying up on what's current in the world. I've always been big into just news, technology news, and what's going on socially. Also a lot of self-improvement, self-help type things. I've started to get into meditation, trying to be my best self, following this app that I discovered. Can't really recall where, but it's a dude named Deepak Chopra. And the app,
I've heard of that name before, bro.
The app, it's a partnership with Oprah, I think. They do these 21-day sessions every few months. So for the better part of a year now, I've been into that a little bit, just trying to, like I said,
Improve yourself.
Yeah,
improve your mind.
self-improvement,
Like,
you know, find peace and be that picture of perfect health and, you know, have dynamic relationships with others through that.
I totally understand, because I'm the same way, man. Like, I just started at the beginning of December actually meditating, and I'll pull up a YouTube video, and it's usually like affirmations. So I'll dedicate like a specific amount of time to like doing certain affirmations or listening to it, and then like stretching and yoga. So like we're right here, bro, with that one.
It's important, man. You know, as you get older, you know, you realize that, you know, I can think back on just different relationships through life, you know, big ones and even just minor things, you know, stuff I was involved in, like thinking back on like my youth basketball coaches, just the impact people were able to make in a short amount of time, just from, you know, brief interactions. So
random conversation.
Yeah, you know, recognizing that, I just want to be sure that, you know, in my interactions with people, you know, I'm giving them something that's gonna better them as well.
It's crazy to me how like you'll meet people and then you'll find out that you have so much in common.
Yeah.
And that's something like, yo, I'm finding out we got so much in common, bro, because that's the same way I am with teaching.
Right.
It's like I know I am going to impact these students' lives, so I'm trying to do it in the best way possible. And so I do these things called a mindfulness moment. That's why I heard about Deepak.
Okay, yeah, mindfulness.
So
yeah.
we'll watch, like, I'll pose a question, we'll watch videos, and then we'll like have a discussion. It could be like depression or anxiety on like forgiveness. It's like a whole range of different topics and stuff. But I want to say I've seen one of his videos, and it was talking about meditation, and that's what led me into like beginning this like meditation journey and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I think he's one of the foremost people out there as far as, you know, that realm of the world.
All right, so For each episode that we do, I like pose the interviewee with like a specific question.
All right.
And the question today I'm gonna give you or ask actually is like, what is, or if you would look back on your life and you would think about all the advice you've been given, everything you've been told from the old people to the young people to the cold people, I don't know, but like, what has been the best advice you've ever been given?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's a pretty simple piece of advice, and coincidentally came from my father. This was right around, I may have just started college or just finished high school, and you know, he'd send me a card, and in there it said, do it, right? And man, that has stuck with me, you know, as an adult. You know, with a lot of things, it's just the challenge of getting started. They say that's half the battle, right? But I keep that in mind. Do it.
Like don't question it.
Right. Just
don't like worry about it. Don't do any of that stuff. Just do it. Like Nike says, swoosh. Just do it, bro.
Just go for it. I think that's proud. I'm a huge sneaker fan, so the closeness to Nike's slogan probably
stuck out to you. It resonated in your spirit, man.
Yeah. But just those, you know, simple words, you know, have had a big impact on my approach to things in the time since, you know, he hit me with that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man, and having this conversation with me.
Yeah, likewise.
Like, I've learned a lot about you, and it gives me actually hope for the future, because it's like, if I'm doing this and you're doing it, then it's very likely like a lot of other people are like doing things to improve themselves, like self-help and stuff like that, and spreading love to the people, shining our light on the world, and just trying to make the world a better place. So like, the world definitely is better because you're here, especially with the interactions you have with like the kids that you coach and your son. Just keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate that, Maurece. And,
it's all love,
you know,
bro.
I've always had a lot of admiration for teachers, one and the same. So big ups to you for what you got going as well.
I appreciate it. It's your struggle, man, but I'm taking it day by day and we getting through. So.
Like I said, these kids today.
Hey, look, they're not that bad. Like, that's what I always tell people. Like, they hear 7th grade, they're like, bruh, you teach middle school in 7th grade? I'm like, it's...
So as I'm walking over to the oven, it's a prep that we do for German style beer brined chicken. Takes 3 hours to make after a half-hour roasting in the oven. So I'm gonna pull it out now. Basically what we do is, after it's brined for 2 days in beer, as you can tell, it's a juicy chicken. We line it up in here. It's basically got now salt, pepper, herbs, butter. This is basically German beer food. A gentleman at the bar was telling me I should look into that because our food is very beer centric. So I said, all right, and this is something I took a liking to as I read the recipe. And I'm like, we got tons of beer here, so then what I'm gonna do with all these juices, it has a lot of beer, butter, flavor on it. I'm actually gonna baste the top of the chicken with it. As you can see, that's all the good flavor. And then we're gonna put more and more flavor on top of it. Roasted chicken and sage. It's just a great flavor. It's one of the dominant flavors you get in a stuffing that's made right for Thanksgiving is sage or marjoram. Bay leaves. Fresh garlic. That's that. And then I base it with just a little bit of water, and this is going to help the broth. A lot of the juices are going to drip, and this is what we use when we reheat it and cook it, and it serves with herb fries, as Germans would eat it. This becomes part of the flavor. All those juices start to drip down, and I'm just helping it, adding a little bit of water to it. And then when this comes out 3 hours later, it'll have this nice, beautiful chicken broth in it. And it's fully tender. It's basically like pulling it right apart when it's ready. So we sell a lot of this chicken. A lot of people are surprised by it too. They always pull me aside. I didn't think that chicken was gonna be that tender. That's 3 hours slow cooking. With 3 hours at 300 degrees, come out. This is basically like a flavor box right there. It puts pressure, so it helps the meat release from the bone. So basically you almost don't even need a knife when it comes out. And I'm gonna bring it back over to the oven. All right, got it already set, ready to go.